Welcome back to Liberty Coin History, the home of amazing coin discoveries, hidden treasures, and the fascinating stories behind the world's most collectible coins. If you love coins, paper money, banknotes, metals, gold and silver bullion, and rare varieties from the United States and around the world, you've come to the right place. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another exciting treasure hunt. Today we're counting down the top 10 most valuable Roosevelt dimes that collectors dream of finding in everyday pocket change. Some of these coins look completely ordinary, yet certain examples have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars because of rare errors, exceptional condition, or unusual mint varieties. Our first coin is the fascinating 1980 Philadelphia Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark, a coin that deserves much more attention than it usually receives. The year 1980 marked an important milestone in the history of the Roosevelt dime, because it was the first year that regular Philadelphia business strike dimes carried the P mint mark. Before 1980, Philadelphia dimes were normally produced without any mint mark, making this small letter a historic change for the series. Millions of Americans spent these new dimes without realizing they were witnessing an important transition in United States coinage. Today, collectors often search through bank rolls hopping to find an attractive 1980p example with strong details and brilliant surfaces. Coin identifier. At first glance, the 1980p Roosevelt dime may seem like nothing more than an ordinary 10-cent coin. It has the familiar portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the front, and the torch, olive branch, and oak branch on the reverse. However, experienced collectors know that appearance alone never tells the whole story. Small differences in strike quality, preservation, and mint errors can transform an everyday coin into an exciting collectible that commands impressive prices. One of the first things collectors examine is the condition of the coin. Since more than 735 million Philadelphia dimes were struck in 1980, circulated examples are common and usually worth only face value. The real excitement begins when a coin survives in nearly perfect mint state condition with exceptional luster and almost no marks from circulation or storage. High-grade certified examples are much scarcer than many people realize. Another feature that attracts serious collectors is the full bands designation. On the reverse of the Roosevelt dime, the horizontal bands wrapped around the torch should appear completely separated and sharply struck. Coins displaying fully defined bands are much more difficult to find because the design required a very strong strike from fresh dies. As a result, certified full bands examples often sell for much higher prices than ordinary coins of the same dates. Mint errors are another reason why collectors eagerly inspect every 1980p dime they encounter. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, die cracks, doubled dies, missing clad layers, and dramatic die clashes are all possibilities that can greatly increase collector interest. While these errors are uncommon, discovering one in circulation is exactly what keeps coin hunters searching through rolls of change every day. Many people mistakenly assume that every old coin is valuable, but collectors know that rarity and condition matter much more than age alone. A heavily worn 1980p dime usually remains worth 10 cents, while a flawless certified example with outstanding eye appeal or a dramatic mint error may bring many hundreds of dollars at auction. Understanding that difference is one of the most important lessons for beginning collectors. When searching your own pocket change, take a close look at the mint mark above the date. On a genuine 1980 Philadelphia dime, you should see a small P. This tiny letter represents the historic first year that Philadelphia business strike dimes carried the mint mark, making the coin especially interesting from a historical standpoint. Many collectors enjoy assembling complete date-10 mint collections, beginning with this important transition year. Wikipedia. Collectors also recommend using a magnifying glass or coin loupe while examining your coins. Under magnification, you may notice doubled lettering, die polishing lines, cracks, or other unusual features that are difficult to see with the naked eye. Careful examination often reveals details that casual observers completely overlook, turning an ordinary coin search into an exciting treasure hunt. If you believe you found an exceptional 1980p Roosevelt dime, avoid cleaning or polishing it. Cleaning almost always reduces a coin's collector value because it permanently alters the original surface. Instead, place the coin in a protective holder and consider having it evaluated by a professional grading service if it appears to be in outstanding condition or displays an unusual mint error. The story of the 1980p Roosevelt dime reminds us that valuable coins are not always ancient or made of silver. Sometimes a modern circulating coin becomes collectible simply because it marks an important change in minting history, survives in remarkable condition, or displays a rare production error. That combination of history, rarity, and preservation is what makes coin collecting so exciting for enthusiasts around the world. So before you spend your next handful of change, take a few extra moments to inspect every Roosevelt dime you receive. That ordinary-looking 1980 Philadelphia dime with its historic P mint mark could surprise you with exceptional quality or an unusual mint error. Stay tuned because the next coin on our countdown is another Roosevelt dime that has amazed collectors with its rarity and incredible value. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Liberty Coin History, and share it with fellow coin hunters who love discovering hidden treasures in everyday pocket change. The second coin on our countdown is the 1989 Philadelphia Mint Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark. At first glance, this coin may not seem exciting at all. In fact, it might be one of the dirtiest and most overlooked dimes hiding in a pocket, an old piggy bank, a forgotten coin jar, or even at the bottom of a drawer. Its dull gray color, worn surfaces, and years of circulation often cause people to spend it without giving it a second thought. But experienced coin collectors know that appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin deserves the closest inspection, because hidden beneath decades of wear could be an interesting variety, an unusual mint error, or a surprisingly collectible example. That is exactly why the 1989 Philadelphia Roosevelt dime continues to attract the attention of collectors who enjoy searching through everyday change. The Roosevelt dime has been a symbol of American coinage since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt for his leadership during difficult times and his support for the fight against polio. By 1989, the dime had become one of the most common coins in American commerce, passing through millions of hands every single day. Philadelphia produced hundreds of millions of these dimes, each carrying the small P mint mark above the date. While most entered circulation and remain common today, collectors understand that even common date coins can become exciting when they display unusual characteristics that set them apart from the millions of ordinary examples. A dirty 1989p Roosevelt dime often tells a story that cannot be seen in bright, shiny coins. Every scratch, every worn edge, and every dark layer of tunning reflects years of use in stores, vending machines, restaurants, banks, and countless everyday transactions. It may have traveled across several states, passed through thousands of pockets, and remained unnoticed for decades. Although dirt alone does not increase a coin's value, it reminds collectors that every circulating coin has its own history. Some coins survive only because someone decided to save them instead of spending them one last time. The real excitement begins when collectors inspect a 1989p dime under magnification. Careful examination may reveal mint-made errors that occurred during production. Off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, die chips, broad strikes, double dies, and other striking mistakes can transform an ordinary dime into a highly collectible piece. These errors are rare compared with the enormous number of normal coins produced, which is exactly why collectors spend countless hours searching through rolls of dimes from banks and examining every coin they receive in change. Another feature collectors appreciate is strike quality. Although millions of 1989 P dimes were produced, not every coin was struck with the same sharpness. Some display weak details on Roosevelt's hair or the torch on the reverse, while others show crisp, bold designs created by fresh dies and strong striking pressure. Coins with exceptional detail and brilliant original surfaces become increasingly difficult to locate after decades of circulation, making them much more desirable to collectors seeking the finest examples. The reverse design also deserves close attention. The torch represents liberty, while the olive branch symbolizes peace and the oak branch stands for strength. Advanced collectors often study the horizontal bands around the torch because sharply defined bands indicate a stronger strike. Examples displaying complete and well-defined bands are scarcer than ordinary pieces and are especially popular among collectors assembling high-grade Roosevelt dime collections. One mistake many beginners make is cleaning dirty coins. A heavily circulated 1989 P dime may look more attractive after polishing, but cleaning usually damages the original surfaces and can reduce its appeal to collectors. Natural tunning, even when dark or uneven, is generally preferred over artificial brightness created by abrasive cleaning. Experienced numismatists recommend leaving coins exactly as they are found until they can be properly evaluated. Finding a valuable coin requires patience rather than luck alone. Most 1989 P dimes are worth only their face value of 10 cents, but collectors continue searching because rare varieties and genuine mint errors occasionally appear in circulation. Searching through bank rolls, inherited collections, estate sales, and old coin jars remains one of the most affordable ways to build a collection while keeping alive the possibility of discovering an unusual treasure. Technology has also changed the way collectors study coins. High-powered magnifiers, digital microscopes, and online reference photographs allow hobbyists to compare tiny details that would have been nearly impossible to examine decades ago. A small doubled letter, an unexpected die crack, or an unusual striking characteristic can sometimes be identified only after careful inspection. This combination of history, technology, and patience makes coin collecting an exciting hobby for people of all ages. One reason the Roosevelt dime series remains so popular is that valuable discoveries are still possible in everyday circulation. Unlike many older silver coins that disappeared long ago, clad Roosevelt dimes continue to circulate widely. Every trip to the grocery store, every handful of change from a cashier, and every bank roll offers another opportunity to discover something unusual. That possibility keeps collectors motivated to examine every dime carefully, instead of assuming modern coins have no collector value. If you happen to find a 1989 Philadelphia Roosevelt dime that appears to have an unusual error or exceptionally sharp details, it is worth protecting it in a coin holder and comparing it with reliable reference guides. If the coin appears especially unusual, professional authentication and grading may help determine whether it carries additional collector value. Even if it turns out to be an ordinary circulated example, the experience gained from studying the coin makes every search more rewarding. The 1989 Philadelphia Roosevelt dime reminds us that hidden treasures are not always obvious. A dirty, worn coin may never be worth a fortune, but careful observation can reveal fascinating history, remarkable minting errors, or an outstanding survivor from millions that once entered circulation. That is why coin collectors never ignore even the most ordinary-looking dime. Keep searching your pocket change, stay curious, and never underestimate what could be hiding in plain sight. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to Liberty Coin History, and join us for the next incredible Roosevelt dime that could surprise collectors with its unique story and collectible potential. The third coin on our countdown is the 1996 Philadelphia Mint Roosevelt dime with the P mint mark, a coin that millions of people have handled without ever realizing it could be worth taking a closer look. At first glance, this dime may appear dull, dirty, scratched and worn from years of everyday use. It may have spent decades moving from one pocket to another, sitting in cash registers, vending machines, and old coin jars before finally ending up in your hands. Most people would spend it without a second thought, but experienced coin collectors know that every coin deserves a careful inspection, because hidden among millions of ordinary examples could be a fascinating mint error, an unusually well-preserved specimen, or another collectible feature that makes it stand out from the rest. The year 1996 was an important one for the Roosevelt dime series. By this time, the Roosevelt dime had already been circulating in the United States for 50 years, making it one of the country's most familiar coins. The Philadelphia Mint continued producing hundreds of millions of dimes to meet the demands of commerce, each carrying the small P mint mark above the date. Although most entered circulation and remain common today, collectors continue searching through rolls of dimes because remarkable discoveries are sometimes made in the most unexpected places. A dirty 1996 P Roosevelt dime often tells a story of decades of circulation. Every mark, every worn edge, and every layer of natural tunning reflects years of daily use. That small coin may have traveled across the country countless times, passed through thousands of hands, and been used to purchase everything from a morning newspaper to a cup of coffee. While dirt itself does not increase a coin's value, it reminds collectors that every circulating coin has its own unique history, making the search through old change both exciting and educational. The real thrill begins when collectors examine a 1996 P dime under magnification. Tiny details invisible to the naked eye may reveal interesting mint-made errors. Collectors search carefully for doubled dies, die cracks, die chips, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and other unusual production mistakes. These mint errors occurred during the manufacturing process and are much scarcer than ordinary coins, making them especially attractive to collectors who enjoy finding something truly different. Another characteristic that collectors appreciate is strike quality. Not every 1996 P dime was struck with the same level of detail. Some coins show weak features because of worn dies or lower striking pressure, while others display sharp details on Roosevelt's portrait and the reverse torch design. Strongly struck examples with brilliant original luster are much more difficult to find after years of circulation, and are highly sought after by collectors assembling premium Roosevelt dime collections. The reverse of the Roosevelt dime offers even more opportunities for careful examination. The torch represents liberty, while the olive and oak branches symbolize peace and strength. Advanced collectors pay close attention to the horizontal bands across the torch because complete, clearly separated bands indicate a stronger strike. Dimes displaying this level of detail are much scarcer than ordinary examples and often receive additional recognition when professionally graded. One of the biggest mistakes made by beginners is cleaning a dirty coin. Although it may seem like polishing will improve its appearance, cleaning usually damages the original mint surfaces and reduces collector appeal. Professional numismatists almost always prefer coins with natural surfaces, even if they show honest wear or dark tunning from decades of circulation. Preserving a coin exactly as it was found is usually the best decision. Searching for valuable coins requires patience, knowledge, and consistency. Most 1996 Philadelphia Roosevelt dimes found in circulation are worth only their face value, but that does not discourage collectors. Rare mint errors and exceptional high-grade survivors occasionally appear in bank rolls, inherited collections, estate sales, and forgotten jars of loose change. Every new handful of coins presents another opportunity for an exciting discovery. Modern technology has made coin collecting more enjoyable than ever before. Magnifying glasses, digital microscopes, and detailed online references allow collectors to examine the smallest design elements with incredible precision. A tiny doubled letter, an unusual die crack, or a subtle striking error may only become visible after close inspection. These discoveries keep collectors motivated to continue searching through even the most common-looking coins. The Roosevelt dime series remains one of the most popular collections because nearly everyone has access to these coins. Unlike many older silver coins that disappeared from circulation decades ago, clad Roosevelt dimes continue to circulate every day. That means every trip to the grocery store, every visit to the bank, and every handful of pocket change could contain an interesting coin waiting to be discovered by someone willing to look carefully. If you believe you have found a particularly sharp or unusual 1996p Roosevelt dime, store it safely in a protective holder instead of allowing additional scratches or wear. Compare the coin with trusted reference materials and consider professional authentication if you suspect it has a genuine mint error or outstanding preservation. Even when a coin turns out to be a normal example, the experience gained from studying it helps build valuable collecting skills. The 1996 Philadelphia Roosevelt dime proves that exciting discoveries do not always begin with rare gold or silver coins. Sometimes an ordinary-looking, dirty 10-cent piece can inspire a lifelong passion for coin collecting and teach valuable lessons about history, craftsmanship, and careful observation. While most circulated 1996p dimes are worth only face value, every collector knows that the next remarkable mint error or exceptional survivor could be hiding in the very next handful of change. Keep searching, stay curious, and join us for the next incredible Roosevelt dime on our countdown as Liberty Coin History continues uncovering the fascinating stories behind America's everyday coins. The fourth coin on our countdown is the fascinating 1967 Philadelphia Roosevelt dime with no mint mark, a coin that has puzzled and excited collectors for generations. At first glance, this dirty, worn dime may seem like nothing more than an old 10-cent piece that has spent decades in circulation. Its faded color, scratched surfaces, and dark appearance often cause people to overlook it completely. Yet experienced coin collectors know that some of the most interesting discoveries begin with coins that appear ordinary. Before you spend an old 1967 Roosevelt dime, it deserves a careful inspection because every coin has a story, and occasionally an overlooked example can become the highlight of a collection. The year 1967 occupies a unique place in the history of United States coinage. During the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint temporarily removed mint marks from circulating coins in an effort to discourage collectors from pulling newly minted coins out of circulation. As a result, every regular 1967 Roosevelt dime was produced without a mint mark, regardless of whether it was struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. This makes the absence of a mint mark completely normal for the year, but it also gives the 1967 dime a distinctive appearance that separates it from many other Roosevelt dimes. A dirty 1967 Roosevelt dime may have traveled an incredible journey over nearly 6 decades. It could have passed through thousands of hands, been dropped into vending machines, stored in cash registers, forgotten in old piggy banks, and eventually ended up in a jar of loose change waiting to be discovered. Every scratch and every worn detail tells part of that journey. While dirt alone does not increase a coin's value, collectors appreciate the history carried by coins that have faithfully served in circulation for generations. Many beginning collectors mistakenly believe that every old coin is automatically valuable, but experienced numismatists know that rarity depends on much more than age. The excitement surrounding the 1967 Roosevelt dime comes from searching for exceptional preservation, unusual striking characteristics, and genuine mint errors. A coin that appears ordinary at first glance can sometimes reveal remarkable details when examined carefully under proper lighting and magnification. One of the first things collectors inspect is the quality of the strike. Some 1967 dimes display weaker details because of worn dies or production variations, while others show crisp lines on Roosevelt's portrait and sharp details on the reverse torch design. Strongly struck examples with original luster are much more difficult to find today because most entered heavy circulation shortly after leaving the mint. High-quality survivors continue to attract the attention of advanced Roosevelt dime collectors. Mint errors add another layer of excitement to the search. Collectors carefully examine 1967 Roosevelt dimes for doubled dies, off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks, broad strikes, die chips, and other unusual production mistakes that occurred during the minting process. Although these errors are uncommon, they remind collectors that no manufacturing process is perfect. Finding a genuine error coin can transform an ordinary search through pocket change into an unforgettable discovery. The reverse of the Roosevelt dime deserves just as much attention as the front. The torch symbolizes liberty, while the olive and oak branches represent peace and strength. Careful collectors study the smallest details of these design elements, searching for unusually sharp strikes or interesting die varieties. Every line and every letter can provide clues about how the coin was produced and whether it differs from the millions of ordinary examples struck during the same year. If you discover a dirty 1967 Roosevelt dime, resist the temptation to clean it. Cleaning removes the natural surface that collectors prefer and often leaves tiny scratches that permanently reduce the coin's appeal. Even if a coin appears dark or stained, leaving it in its original condition is usually the best decision. Professional collectors consistently recommend preserving coins exactly as they are found until they can be properly evaluated. Searching through old dimes requires patience and careful observation. Most circulated 1967 Roosevelt dimes remain worth only their face value, but collectors continue searching because genuine mint errors and exceptionally preserved examples occasionally appear in old collections, inherited coin albums, bank rolls, and forgotten jars of change. Every handful of coins offers another opportunity to learn something new and perhaps uncover an exciting collectible. Modern coin collecting combines history with technology. Magnifying glasses, digital microscopes, and detailed reference guides allow collectors to examine the tiniest design features with remarkable precision. A subtle doubled letter, a tiny die crack, or another unusual feature can easily escape the naked eye but become obvious under magnification. These tools have made searching through ordinary-looking coins more exciting than ever before. The 1967 Roosevelt dime also reminds us of an important chapter in American minting history. Because mint marks were intentionally omitted during this period, the coin serves as a lasting reminder of the U.S. Mint's efforts to reduce coin hoarding during the nationwide coin shortage of the 1960s. That historical connection makes the 1967 dime an interesting addition to any Roosevelt dime collection, even when found in well-worn condition. As our countdown continues, the 1967 Roosevelt dime proves that hidden treasures are not always measured by appearance alone. A dirty, heavily circulated coin may simply be worth 10 cents, or it could be an unusually sharp survivor or a genuine mint error waiting to be recognized. That mystery is what makes coin collecting such an exciting hobby for millions of people around the world. So the next time you receive an old Roosevelt dime with no mint mark, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, examine every detail, and remember that every great coin collection begins with curiosity. Stay tuned for the next incredible coin on our countdown, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Liberty Coin History for more amazing stories and discoveries from the world of coins.